Hi, welcome to Incredible Buzz. I'm Penny. And I'm Chris, and today we're going to talk about dealing with loss. So we had a pretty good conversation going here. We should have had the camera running because we were talking about loss and grieving, and everybody loses family members, and everybody grieves in different ways,
Right.
And you were talking about grieving for the loss of like your dad and your mom, and
Right. Yeah, actually the way we got talking about this subject is we were talking about grief, and my mom died, it was a year ago in February, and I have not grieved her loss yet. And the reason I know I haven't is because anyone out there who has grieved knows what it is. And I've grieved the loss of a few other very close loved ones, and even my divorce from my first husband, the father of my children. I didn't realize you could grieve the loss from a divorce.
oh yeah,
And I thought it was fine.
the loss
and
of a
about
lifestyle and the loss
and
of
it was and it was 2 or 3 years later that I was literally driving down the street, and I was overcome with grief and the loss of that relationship and everything that entailed. And then for a small period of time, I literally grieved that loss. So I never even knew that was going to happen, but that made me realize it doesn't always happen right away either. But for some reason, my mom, I've cried, and of course I miss her, and I feel bad she's not here, but I know I haven't grieved it. And maybe I never will. Maybe grief is it's so subjective, and who knows? It's, maybe that's just the way it is, but I don't think so, because I've always grieved any major loss, and I just think it's a matter of time. Like in the past, it'll probably hit me when it hits me. Maybe it'll be tomorrow, and maybe it'll be a year from now or whenever. But it's I'm wondering, maybe should I talk to a grief counselor or something? But I think that's more for when you are grieving and you're having difficulty getting past it. I think that's when a grief counselor would be very helpful.
Well, see, and I guess I'm not quite sure what I understand, or if I understand what you're saying about not grieving your mom, because you cried and you felt bad and you feel bad. Because with my dad too, I think of him a lot, and I've sad a lot that he died, and I, you always question whether you did enough when they were alive, and helped enough, and so is part of your grief the fact that you don't know if you did enough for them, and
maybe it's a different process for each situation, each person. No, what I mean is you always have that. I still have that with my dad, and I've grieved the loss of my dad. And I still have those once in a while. Oh, I wish I had been a better daughter to him and appreciated him the way I should have. And those things happen. But when you're going through, for me, when I'm going through the process of grieving, it's an emotional, sort of a intense, feeling that you know you're going through it. And I haven't had that with Mom. So, and again, like I said, it's different, so maybe you never do. I'm no expert, but I think it's an interesting topic because you're, like we said, it could be divorce, it could be death, it could be, any loss that you feel, all of a sudden you feel that emptiness, and it's more than that, it's more than just the emptiness.
Well, what I was thinking is maybe it's like a protection mechanism where you're locking it up inside of you, and that's why you haven't grieved your mom, because it's going to be really hard,
right? Right.
It might just be a way to protect yourself.
Yeah, I think that's a good point too, because I've done that with some other situations too.
Yeah.
So who knows? It's not trying to make it a heavy topic, but everybody goes through it, so we thought it might be interesting to some people to know. I guess what we're really trying to say, what I'm really trying to say is, if you are grieving and you're having trouble getting past that, because that happened to me with my dad when I started grieving my dad's death. I just worked through it because back then people didn't talk about a lot of things the way they do now. And I don't think my siblings really knew that I was going through that, but there's resources out there, there's help available, and there's nothing wrong with getting it, because it's a hard thing to go through.
Yeah.
I think it's, one of the more difficult things in life, but
Yeah.
you know.
Well, and the other thing we talked about is everybody does grieve differently. I knew someone whose husband died and not long after that she was out dancing and partying and stuff. And that was just some people kind of frowned on that, but you know what? Everybody grieves differently
Right.
and some people need to run away from it.
Exactly.
It's like sometimes you just need to not sit there by yourself and you
Exactly.
need to get out and forget.
Yep.
It's not like you're forgetting your loved one. It's not like you're
No.
forgetting anything else, but
No.
it's just a matter of you just need to take your mind off of it.
Right. And so, that's something for all of us to remember too. If someone's grieving, don't be judgmental because, as Chris said, everybody grieves differently. You don't know what that person's going through. Maybe being out with people and just getting away from it, like you said, getting your mind off of it, being around friends and trying to just laugh and have fun is the only way you can kind of get through it or try to not be always thinking about it. Or on the other hand, someone who maybe, like I said, I'm kind of going through with Mom, it might seem like you don't care or you're, why didn't you grieve the way a lot of the other, like some of my siblings did? Because we all do it differently and so we all have to, myself too, we have to remember that. Just be supportive, let the person know you're there, but don't be judgmental because it's a very personal, individual thing.
Well, and another thing to remember is that you never really get over it. Say,
Right.
oh, give it some time, you'll get over it.
Yeah,
you
no.
never get over it. For the rest of your life, you're going to miss your mom, you're going
Right.
to miss your dad. I miss my dad,
Mhm.
and so for the rest of my life, I will think of him often, and I will hopefully remember the good times,
Right.
and forget about the bad times,
Right.
and cry once in a while over it,
Sure.
Sure. But the thing is it's always going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to learn how to go on with your life and find joy in your life.
Exactly, and that's what they
That's
would
the big
want.
thing.
That's, everybody who's in my life who's gone, every single person would not want any of us to
To
be
sit there and cry all
dwelling
the
on
time.
it or feeling sad or, anything like that, and I understand that. I guess I think it's just important, what I'm trying to say is, don't be afraid to grieve because it'll come out. It might be 5 years later. You'll grieve. In your own way, you'll know it when it's happening. But it's important to let that process happen too. Don't try to just keep it all in and just deny it because that's,
Yeah.
that probably won't work either.
It's
but-
normal to grieve, and it's normal to find your own way to grieve, and just find joy. That's all I can say is that's what our Incredible Buzz is all about. You've got bad things in your life, you've got stress, you've got death, you've got, things that are happening in your life that just tear you apart and make you very sad. But you have to find the incredible buzz in your life.
That's true.
something that can liven you up, make you have fun. As long as it's legal and not immoral.
Well, and really on that note, too, the more I think about it, it's kind of ironic that, or that's probably not the right word, but I know for a fact that my mom, she was a very sensitive person, that would make her feel really bad to think for 1 second that I was feeling bad, and I know that. So maybe this is a situation where maybe that isn't coming, that I might be okay with it.
That's just your way of handling the situation and grieving the way your mom would want you to.
Exactly, because I know that's what she would want.
Because you were sad, you missed her, you missed her a lot,
course,
and the
but-
thing is, but like you said, find the incredible buzz in your life.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
every gray cloud has a silver lining, and I do believe that's true. Like we said, you go through ups and downs, but you have to appreciate what you have and enjoy the moment, and that's what loved ones definitely would want. When I'm gone, and I've told my children this. I said I want you to celebrate, that I've been here and was a part of your life, and I want to be, I want to know that you're enjoying and fulfilling your life, and
Right.
that's what would make me happy.
And using
And
the
so my
things you've
mom, I'm
taught
sure,
them.
feels the
Yeah,
same way.
they taught you how to live your life, and you want your
Yep.
kids to do that when you die. You want
An
them to
Irish
go on.
funeral, have a few beers, toast the person, celebrate life, It's all we have is what's here, so enjoy it.
Yeah.
So-
So, well, on that note, I think we're going to call it a show, and
Yeah.
we're going to remind you that life should be an incredible buzz.